Hi everyone, thanks for coming, thanks for joining me. I found a video which I think is going to be very useful. It's called 7 must know tips for the over 50s. Now you're not going to believe this, but I'm actually over 50, so this should be great for me. It's by a lady called Lauren Bateman, who I've watched before. She's great, she's a great trainer, great tutor. Apologies if I keep looking and put my monitor up there. Let's start and see what Lauren's got to teach us. Can't wait for this. This is going to be good.
Hey guitar enthusiasts, in this video lesson I'm going to be going over 7 tips for older learners learning to play the guitar today. Let's get into the lesson.
Well, nice Gretsch there in the background. Is that a falcon? We know whose house to come and burgle, don't we? Anyway, let's get into it.
So I have many students
graphics
that email me from time to time. You know, they're in their 60s, they're in their 70s, some are even in their 80s. I actually have a couple guys that are in their 90s that I work.
No mention of 50s, and this was the over 50s. So is that 50 to 59? Okay, not looking so good all of a sudden. But let's give it a go. Let's see what she's got to tell us.
So you're never too old to start learning guitar. But they oftentimes have questions because they're concerned about their age. They wish they did this 20 or 30 years ago. But I'm going to go over some tips here for older learners who are trying to learn the guitar. These are my suggestions and things that I help my students with that they've found helpful on their journey. So let's get started.
Should be good.
Tip number 1, make sure that you warm up before playing guitar. So
don't you warm up as naturally when you're practicing or playing?
In my 7-level guitar system, I have lots of different like finger exercises and different ups and down exercises, things to warm up the fingers, particularly when you're older. Your joints can be stiffer. I have lots of students who have arthritis, and playing the guitar can be helpful with arthritis. But I always tell students, you know, especially today, it's a cold day here in Boston, warm up your hands. I have some students that use a heater to warm up their hands, get blood flow into the hands, and then start off with a very...
Sounds like they may have passed on.
Simple 5-minute warm-up, maybe a nice little spider exercise. Okay, I'll put a link up here if you guys don't know a spider exercise of a simple one you can do, because all
but I'm
a
not
warm-up
finding it
does
particularly
is it gets
applicable.
the fingers moving. So make sure to warm up your hands and just get them moving, particularly if you have arthritis. It can really help out
those fingers
get the
moving,
joints
everyone.
going and getting those fluids moving and make playing the guitar
Likes
a
are
little
always
bit more
welcome.
comfortable. Tip number 2, make sure you simplify your lessons when you start. Now, I know a lot of students who reach out to me, they're older learners, they feel frustrated, they feel like they want to give up with the guitar. And a lot of that stems from older learners starting with 3-finger chords, these 3-finger C chord, G chord, D chord. These 3-finger chords, especially for someone who's older and again has arthritis,
Oh my God,
they
if they
can
can't,
be very, very hard for you to do. I have many students who, because of their arthritis, can't even play those chords. So
if they can't even play 3 strings, are they really going to learn how to play the guitar? Are they really going to learn it properly? Yeah, I suppose you can get something out of it, but if you can't even play 3 strings, I'd be a bit worried. But no, I get this because sometimes I look for simplified versions, not necessarily 2-fingered chords, but if something's complicated I might look for an easier version, like not having to bar an F or something like that. So
I use simplified chords when I start out with students. Usually they're 2-finger chords. I also have 1-finger chords for students with really, really bad
that's just lazy.
Finger pain and stuff, but most of my students can get by with these 2-finger chords, which make playing the guitar fun for students in the beginning.
Is everyone over 50 so decrepit in her eyes? Are all her over 50 students really this decrepit?
While you develop more flexibility and dexterity in your fingers, because again, older fingers, you're less nimble, you're less flexible. So
that's interesting, because I read something just today that said young players don't have the dexterity and the reach and the strength of older players. Who's right?
my goal with my older students is, hey, Let's just get the fingers moving. Let's start building some
those fingers
flexibility.
moving.
Let's start building strength, okay? Because when you play guitar, you're going to start using your hand muscles more, which can help with arthritis and actually can help make your fingers stronger. I have
Is the
many
arthritis
adult students that
show?
have weak tendons, or they have nerve damage, or they have a hand injury, and they're using the guitar to help them rebuild strength in their hands, and that can help. So that is a recommendation.
Does she like teach in a war veterans hospital or something? All these injuries.
That I have for older learners. Tip number 3, keep your practice sessions short. Most beginners can't really...
Yeah, keep this short, because you're so old. It's a bit of a risk. I mean, anything longer than 15 minutes and you're in trouble. You know, at their age, it's a risk watching a new show on Netflix, isn't it? I mean, you might never get to see the second episode of the series. Really?
Practice for a long time anyway, because of the finger pain that is associated with getting started with the guitar.
Well,
I promise that finger pain will go away. You just have to form calluses on your fingertips. So oftentimes,
This is true. You
even
got
for
plates with
beginner
calluses.
students that aren't older, I recommend practicing for 10 to 15 minutes. Now, for those of you that are older and again suffer from arthritis and have finger pain, you may not be able to do more than 10 or 15 minutes.
But those of us that are older and perfectly fine, Lauren. What are we supposed to do?
And that's perfectly fine. What I tell you to do is do what you can and have fun as soon as possible.
Have fun
all right?
with your
So
decrepit old
don't focus on you
fingers.
have to practice for an hour. You don't. I don't even practice for an hour.
Not even Lauren.
It's better to do more short sessions
That's 'cause
than
she's
really,
brilliant.
really long sessions, because when you're older, repetition is your friend, okay?
So she's talking about learning and about brain plasticity here. And I think it's certainly true that in your teens and your right up to your mid-20s, you've got more of that. But you can teach an old dog new tricks. In fact, guitars have been shown, learn to play instruments, especially guitars, have been shown to increase that plasticity again, to sort of give a bit of a rebirth to the brain.
You know, as we get older, we get more forgetful. We don't memorize things as easily as we used to.
Speak for yourself.
So I always teach students in chunks and sections. Let's focus on learning
Fair
these
enough.
4 chords and these 4 chords only. All right.
Probably good advice.
And when you do that, you're able to do that in a short lesson time instead of trying to memorize like 12 or 13 chords. So I always tell students, if you're practicing for 15 minutes, spend 5 minutes on your warm-up. Okay, either doing some picking exercises or some dexterity exercises. So we're working on dexterity and warm up for the first 5 minutes. Spend 5 minutes working on either your chords or your chord changes, and then spend the last 5 minutes on another exercise or working on a song. End on something fun. But I always tell them, break your practice up into little 5-minute segments.
Totally agree with that. So, I mean, that's 15 minutes, but you could times those by 4 if you're doing an hour a day, or by 2 if you're doing 30 minutes a day. That's all cool. That's exactly what I do. Start with moving from randomly from chords, maybe some scales. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And if you do that 3, 4, or 5 times a week, I promise you'll get much better than if you just sat down for an hour. And playing through pain is not fun, so never play through pain on the guitar. Do what you can and have fun with what you can do, not always what you can't do. Hey, hope you're enjoying these tips for older learners. Just a reminder, I do have a 7-level guitar course. If you're interested
come on,
in
Lauren.
learning guitar in
Sell
a
it
very
to me, baby. Sell it to
step-by-step and
me.
organized way,
Hard sell,
the
hard
link in
sell.
the
Sell, sell,
description below.
sell.
Go check that out. I would
Always
love
be
to see
selling,
you guys
always
in
be
the
finishing.
course. Tip number 4.
Before we continue with the video, can I just remind you to take a moment to like, comment on, and share the video with your friends. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.
Put lighter gauge strings on your guitar or play an electric. Now,
Oh.
the thing...
Yeah, totally agree with both of those. Even lighter gauge on your electric. I don't know why people always tell you to start off with an acoustic, because it's the hardest thing to play. You get fret buzz really easily. Unless it's nylon strung, then there's big steel strings cause real problems. Press a lot lighter with an electric, and there's more sort of to be had in terms of technique, like vibrato, etc. Because you can get away with a very, very light touch. So totally agree with her there. Never never understood why everyone thinks you need to start with an acoustic. To me, an acoustic's a sort of intermediate thing.
The thicker the strings on a guitar, the harder it is to press down on a guitar. So going with very light gauge strings, so something like a 9 or a 10 would be recommended on an acoustic, or get an electric
9 or 10 for an electric. Let's get her Gretsch. In fact, when she's not looking, have it.
guitar. Electric guitar strings are much thinner, they're easier to press, and electric guitars in general are much easier to play and require less strength than an acoustic guitar. The other thing you can do when you buy your guitar, whether you have an acoustic or an electric, one, get lighter strings, but go someplace where they can set your guitar up and lower the action. The action is the distance between the strings and the fretboard. So the closer the strings are to the fretboard, the easier it is to press the strings and make chords. So that is something that can help you. So if you have an electric guitar, go to your lutherer, tell them you
Go to your lutherer, yes. Where's your lutherer? I keep mine in the basement. And throw him scraps. But you can go to the guitar shop you bought it from, and use your local guitar shops. I know it's challenging to challenging. I know it's tempting to buy things online, but support local guitar shops because you'll miss them when they're not there. Give you loads of advice. When I bought my last acoustic, I bought the one that was in the shop because it was perfectly set up. But they'll set it up for probably about £30, $20-30. I mean, they won't do anything like level frets or anything, but they might lower the action some. They might take away some of the burring, make it more comfortable. But yes, take it to your luthier if you got one.
want your strings as close as they can possibly be to the fretboard without buzzing, and it will make playing the guitar much easier for you.
Remember to subscribe
the strength
to her
what you need to do
and to
on
me.
The guitar. Tip number 5, do not go for perfection. Perfection?
No, never aim for perfection, because then your lessons with me will end far too soon.
Is the killer of progress every time. And I know that's very hard for you perfectionists out there, but I get a lot of students, they're like, my chord sounds like this. And I'm like, oh, well, how long have you been playing? They're like 7 days. And I'm like, perfect. That's what it's supposed to sound like. Like, your chords are supposed to sound like this in the beginning. Why?
Why? Because I'm a shit teacher, obviously. I need to fleece you and bleed you like for all the money I can get.
Because you're a beginner. You're just learning. One, you probably haven't developed the calluses yet, and calluses alone will make your chords sound better. So that can take a month or 2 months to...
Seriously, totally agree with this. If you're brand new, it's going to be frustrating for 3 months, because you will suck and you'll think you're the only one that can't do it, and it's all down to you, and you'll find lots of reasons for giving up. But really don't give up.
Really get that down. I always tell students when we're working through the 7-level system, they're like, well, this sucks. And I'm like, well, that's okay. It's going to suck in the beginning, but don't let that hold you back. I want you to keep moving forward, because as we develop these skills, your hands are automatically going to fix themselves. Your chords are going to...
Or even as people with damaged tendons and arthritis and all the rest of it.
Automatically fix themselves. It's a magical thing that happens. You're playing a D chord and it sucks for like 3 or 4 months, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you play a D chord and it sounds perfect, and you're like, what the hell did I just do? And it's just over time, as you play more, your fingers are going to stretch more, you're going to get more flexible,
you're going to get longer fingers.
So
longer
as
fingers.
You go over
really
time,
long
playing
fingers.
the guitar gets easier. In fact, because your hand gets stronger too. Remember, we're going to the gym, we're working out here, so your hand's going to get stronger. You're going to get your calluses, and that's going to help
I've ever
you
noticed my fingers
play
getting stronger
better over longer.
I know they
period
do,
of time.
but
I always tell students, do not expect to be good in 3 months. You will
there
not
you go,
sound
exactly
good
what I
for
said.
the first 3 months. Your chords will probably sound like this, where 1 or 2 strings are getting muted, and that's fine. I don't go for perfection in the beginning. When I talk to students, I say, listen, there's probably 100 things right now that I can fix.
Great tutor. Yeah, you do 100 things shit, but I'm going to do them one at a time to stretch out this learning as long as possible.
You're playing, but if I tried to fix all 100 of those things at the same time, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to give up. So we're going to work on fixing only 1 or 2 of those things at a time over the course of a
She genuinely sounds like a great teacher.
long period of time. So I tell students all the time, if you get 1% better every week by just...
These people you've described haven't got the time for 1% a week. That's only 50% better in a whole year. From the way you describe it, these people have got weeks, days, months, hours. You need to move faster, Lauren.
Just practicing a little bit. If you get 1% better every week, by the end of the year, you will be 52% better than you were last year.
Fabulous maths.
All right? So just keep that in mind. We are making baby steps, but every time we put...
We're making the baby steps. You're making big bucks, stretching out the training, the teaching time.
1 foot in front of the other, we get so much closer to our goal. And I always tell students, you're going to start feeling things coming together probably 6 to 12 months into your guitar journey.
That's true. 12 to 18 months, you'll become an intermediate.
So don't rush this. Don't go for perfection. Try to step back, breathe, and just enjoy the process. It does take time.
Enjoy the journey.
Number 6, go slow.
Yeah, for God's sake, go slow. Don't get good quickly. That's no use to me. No use to my bank balance.
There's so many people who are in a rush to get to the end of the journey, the guitar journey. And I always tell people, no. When I start with students, we really do focus on 4 chords for a very long time. Like the first 3 levels of my guitar course focus really on 4 chords
and the truth.
And learning those 4 chords very well. They're the C chord, or the G chord, the E minor chord, the C chord, and the D chord. And we use simplified versions to start.
Whoa, just looking at those, fair enough, they're simplified versions, but the G might as well have your finger down here on there, because it's only hanging around in exactly the right spot anyway. That's not simplified. That's the way it should be. Obviously this one is, because it's missing that one there, but by the time you bother to put a finger there and your second one there, the third one might as well go there. And this D sus2. Sus2's not really a D major. And you know what? Making that shape, you might as well move this finger to there and put your third finger there and do the real thing. I understand what you're saying, and to begin with, yep, it's great, but I don't know. Are you going to learn all these and then have to relearn them all again? And you're going to jump back to these sometimes. It's like children, where we teach them the wrong words for animals. We teach them like doggy and moo cow and things, and then that you have to learn the real words. and it's like, you thought it was a GG, now you're telling me it's a horse? What? Yeah, okay, fair enough, but that one seems a bit lazy, and I don't think anyone's ever found a D major difficult. But but good advice. Gets you going, gets you playing songs. With those 4 chords, there's hundreds of songs. Hundreds with those 4. Maybe you should throw an A in. And an A is dead easy as well. It's only those 3.
Start off. But
Can
with
you
those
actually see
4
my
chords,
cursor?
I can teach you thousands of songs. No joking. With just 4 chords, you can play a ton of songs. And what I want you to do, I want you to get so good at these chords that you can play any song that uses them. And we'll throw some strumming patterns over them. And then people are like rushing. They're trying to like, I'm working on this chord. You know, they're trying to work on a bar chord, which I consider bar chords intermediate level. I don't even teach bar chords to beginners. I usually don't start bar chords with students about 9 to 12 months into their journey. There's so much other stuff that we can work on. We have to build a good foundation first. All right. So what I do with students is, we'll just...
There's always a simplified version you can find.
Just focus on one thing for months, but we will expand upon that one thing. So even though you're only playing 4 chords, you're still learning a lot. You're learning about strumming. You're learning picking patterns. You're learning different stuff, but you're getting so much better because you're only focusing on 4 chords instead of focusing on like a dozen chords. And again, when you're older, your memory isn't as good. So it's easier to
patronizing.
Remember 4 chords and learn those very well than try.
There's the real things. She's just moved them around.
Trying to do 12 chords all at the same time, and they're all kind of going to be mediocre. Tip number 7, find a guitar teacher that loves working with older students. I've had so many guitar students come to me that worked with another teacher, and I'm so sorry if this has been your experience with other guitar teachers. They come to me and they say, my guitar teacher told me to just like give up, or they told me to play harmonica because they don't want to.
How much must your guitar teacher hate you? Surely the one thing they want to find is someone who's desperate to learn, but is inept at it, and is going to take a bazillion lessons. How much of an awful personality must you have for them to say, I don't know, go play anything, go play in the road, I don't give a toss, just get out my house.
You know, they get someone who comes in who's older, maybe doesn't pick things up as quick, and the teacher gets frustrated because the teacher's not patient. I've been told I have the patience of a saint because I can do the same thing
Because she likes money.
over and over and over again. It's not really that I get bored of doing the same thing. What drives me is that light bulb that goes off when students have those light bulb moments, or they make, you know, like they get over the mountaintop that they've been working on. Those are exciting moments for me. So I'm more than happy to do something 100 times if I have to. That doesn't bother me
Again, genuinely sounds like a great teacher.
at all. I love doing that stuff. But there's a lot of teachers out there who, you know,
Nasty teachers that aren't Lauren.
they don't like working with older students because they just get frustrated because they do learn guitar a little bit slower. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just sometimes we have to adjust. We have to make things maybe a little bit more simplified for you guys to get it. And, you know, for some people, again, they have students that are blind or have arthritis, and they're like, well, I don't know what to do with this, so you have arthritis, so you shouldn't play guitar. And I totally think that's bullshit. I think
She swore, although didn't I say that earlier? I think I did. I hope this video's not ticked as for children. Over 18s only.
anyone who wants to play guitar can play guitar. There's people without feet or people without hands that play guitar with their feet. So I firmly believe where there's
You might have wanted to edit that a little bit more there, Lauren.
a will, there is a way. We just need to
Yeah, they play with their teeth.
find the right way for you. And, you know, I'm more than happy to help students and try and problem solve and figure things out. If you don't have hands, you know,
You can
I don't
the hands bugger off.
have a method for teaching you how to play without your hands.
If you're Edward Scissorhands, don't come to me. I ain't the teacher for you.
But, you know, I've helped students who have missing fingers or have nerve damage and stuff. So I've worked with a lot of students over the years. Like I said,
Does she work at like a, I don't know, a hospital for retired mime sweepers or something? What? Did I just say mime sweepers and not minesweepers? Where are people getting all these injuries from? Who knew guitars were so dangerous?
that I taught a student who was completely blind. I've taught a few students who were blind and couldn't see
Did you teach the dog as well?
anything that I was showing them. So I had to get really, really good at explaining and describing things for them. So, you know, I'm not afraid of a challenge. I can't say I've been able to help every student that's walked through my door. I'm not perfect, but I do my best and I give my all to help everyone that I can. And I really love working with older students. The majority of the students who are enrolled in my 7-level guitar system are probably in their 60s, 70s.
Again, we've gone right past the 50s. Why is this called over 50s if it's just over 60s?
I do have a lot of students in their 50s as well.
She does, but she's not going to talk about them or help them.
I have a few students in their 80s, and I even have a couple students in their 90s. My oldest student right now is 92. So you're never too old to get started. And, you know, I love
They're not exactly going to have a lifetime of playing, are they?
all the music that you guys love. I love the Beatles, Neil Young, you know, CCR, all that stuff. I love that. But I think the new music is like total crap. So you guys listen to better music. So if you're an older learner, and you know, you're looking for a teacher who loves, you know, the music you love,
Loves
and
older
loves
people,
teaching older students, and has patience and a big heart for you guys, go check out my 7-level guitar system. Would love to have you guys in the course and help you reach your dream. I
Sell,
really
Lauren.
love helping students achieve their lifelong dream of wanting to play guitar. So if you want to achieve your dream, click the link below, go check out the guitar course, and I hope to see you guys in another lesson very soon. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget...
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Well, that was great, and I'm sure Lauren's great. Wasn't much for the over 50s though, was it? It was mainly the over hundreds, or people who had limbs missing and feet missing and blind and only have 2 fingers to play with. Now, what I imagined is it would be much more about people my age who aren't yet into arthritis and being decrepit and old. I mean, you know, there's things she could help me with still, isn't like my lower back and eyesight. I hate the fact that I can only play guitar when I put these on, which is probably the most rock and roll thing in the world. And now I've seen what Lauren actually looks like. Now I've got glasses on. Yeah, I thought this would be a video for sort of silver-haired foxes, for sort of midlife crisis Gen Xers who are trying to win back their youth and everything. So yeah, not entirely applicable to me in my position, and it was a little bit sort of help the aged, but there you go. Thank you, Lauren. Overall, very good. Enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these reaction videos. This is my first one. Hopefully they'll get better. Hopefully I'll get more relaxed, be less tired when I'm doing them. But yeah, if you've got something you'd like to see me react to, then please, yeah. Doesn't really even have to be guitar based, but yeah. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Please think about subscribing if you'd like to see more of this. And yeah, next time I see you, hopefully I'll have a guitar in my hand. Thanks, and bye now.